Our next entry features some mummified dancers doing this. Can I stop doing this now?
No.
It's 1997's Around the World by French duo Daft Punk, or to translate that name into French, Daft Punk. Seems silly. I'm stopping.
Daft Punk Around the World is sort of like a weird modern music box. You open up the lid and you're like, what the hell is going on in here?
It's the most bizarre video in the world.
Visually, it was amazing. It was so simple, yet there was a lot going on.
Top pop video director Michel Gondry's vision was to make each of the dancers represent the instruments. It brought us some pretty crazy choreography. So, the synchronized swimmers are the high-pitched keyboard synth. It's art. Go with it.
What you're watching is the human representation of what Daft Punk have created digitally. It's an incredibly clever idea.
The tall b-boys symbolise the ascending and descending bass guitar. The mummies are dancing in time with the song's drum beat. The itchy skeletons are the guitars. And the astronauts represent the robot voice repeating that one famous vocal over and over and over again.
I used to be able to do the skeleton dance.
My favourite thing is the random spacemen just walk around, and then when they get to the front, they all get confused.
One of them turns back on himself, he's like that, and he's going, and it goes, no, keep going forwards, all right. And it's just a really nice little ripple of that happening. And you sort of think it's gone wrong, but it hasn't.
Daft Punk brought robotics back. Thanks, Daft Punk. Robo-dance was popular in the 80s, back when a home computer was a Sinclair ZX80 or a Commodore 64. But if the robotic dancers really wanted to mimic computers, they should have moved like they were about to print a spreadsheet before inexplicably freezing until they're put to sleep.
Humankind looked at the robot and said, no, we will not let you have these moves to yourself. We want in.
Everyone thinks they can do the robot, don't they? They just...
The robotic dance craze has a lasting legacy, exemplified by Peter Crouch's 2006 Gold celebration, which statistically became 9% less funny every time he did it.
Crouchy reinvented it, and so blokes think they can do it now. They usually can't. As I'm demonstrating now, nor can I.
Crouchy, you've started to fear the robot. You've got to let the robot fear you. I'm talking like staple, tray service, swivel, can, open, drinkity-drink, yeah? What about some of these? A few turns in there. If you score a hat-trick, pull out the rope. Pull out the rope.
I think that the robot is up there with the greatest of dance crazes. At the point the robot was revealed to the world, I don't know a single human being who didn't then give it a go.
I'm thinking in like 50 years' time when we have robots, like, I think a really popular dance move will be the human.
Good point.
You know?
Valid point.
Thanks very much.
Oh, Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Hey, Mickey! I love a cheerleader, don't you? At 45 in our top 50 countdown is Mickey by Tony Basil. She was a lady, by the way. Tony, that is, not Mickey.
Hey Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Hey Mickey! Hey Mickey! Hey Mickey, you're so fine. Oh, I loved that. She had a little rara on, wasn't it? And with the pom-poms. Did love that, and used to fall into splits at the end. Of course, yes. Oh, Mickey Basil. Tony Basil, even. Whatever. I wasn't interested in her name, just in her skirt.
Tony Basil was choreographer to the stars before she donned her old high school cheerleader outfit and topped the charts in 1982 with this high-octane ditty.
When you think of Hey Mickey,
You think of high energy, and you think of a cheerleader, and you think of Tony just looking hot.
I was on the floor with pom-poms and miniskirts. Of course I did. That's a really stupid question.
Oh, pardon me for asking.
You know, being a cheerleader isn't easy. Have you seen those American cheerleaders, what they do? It's an art form in itself.
It's actually quite a butch song. It's not the most feminine dance. It's really good. She just looks a bit deranged throughout the whole dance. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine, you're bum man. Hey, Mickey.
The main bit to remember was that bit. Very, very, very sharp, jerky movement like that.
You think that it's quite an easy dance, but it's not. She was just like a little firecracker, just jumping up and twirling.
Tony fused all-American cheerleading moves with the coolest street style coming out of LA, popping and locking.
Tony Basil was one of the original people to bring street dance to the world.
Popping is you snap your body.
Without people like that, half the stuff we see on screen would not be on screen.
You roll your wrist and you point at whoever you want to go home with that night. It's true. It's such a macho dance.
But Tony doesn't really mind a bit of butch. Just take a look at the cheerleaders in her video.
I think a couple of her dancers are really quite hefty young women, but actually she used a couple of men and dressed them up in cheerleading outfits because of all the lifting.
I didn't realise that then. Maybe that's why I thought they were quite cute. I thought there was something wrong. It does answer a lot of questions now, actually.
Actually, Louis, it doesn't. That's, in fact, an urban myth. The dancers you're drooling over were real cheerleaders from Carson High, California.
Many of the dances in our top 50 are about freedom and fun and having what I can only describe as a gay old time. And that's fine. There's a place for that. But it's not now. Because the only way one can successfully perform the dance to Fatboy Slim's Praise You is with the solemnity that it deserves. I thank you.
We've come a long, long way together, through the hard times and the good.
Praise You was a guerrilla-style video featuring the Torrance Community Dance Troupe. This genuine-looking footage from 1999 sees them pitching up uninvited to perform some wacky dancing on the street outside an LA cinema.
It is almost like a drama class. It isn't a dance, it's a drama class, but they're expressing themselves through movement. Whatever they're taking, can I have some?
There's a routine of sorts, but it's a routine unlike anything that would come out of a professional dance studio.
The video got everyone talking. Was it amateur footage? Who were these people? But those with too much time on their hands spotted Norman Cook peering into the camera, which kind of gave the game away. Turns out that they were professional dancers, and the stunt was the brainchild of troupe leader Spike Jones, movie writer, promo director, and co-creator of Jackass.
We kind of did it like burglar style, so nobody knew that we were filming, and even the people in the theater didn't know that we were out there doing like these crazy steps. I think it was the seriousness and how we played it, which made it even funnier, because we weren't playing it for laughs.
But you'd have to be pretty dumb to be taken in by this.
When I watched that video, it was 100% real. They meant every moment of it. So that is genuine expression in that video. You know when something's being faked, and they were definitely mental.
I gave every step a funny name, so we would do like the broken pony. Yeehaw, you're off to go into that broken pony land. And then the second step is called the bad fish, because it's swimming in the wrong direction on the river. And you move, but then another current comes along and you flip the other way, and you're a bad fishy and you're stuck in the current. Spike loved the sound of music, so we did this one movement where Spike called it, "The hills are alive with the sound of praise you."
As long as you danced weird,
It was kind
you
of-
kind of suited that dance.
Well, you could just like mysterious.
That's the sort of thing you can see yourself in your own front room. I do anyway. Just sort of leaping around and doing all that and thinking you're burning off calories.
It really wasn't a hit at the discos, not at the time. I don't think if you're gonna be in some disco and taking your date out, you're gonna just go into a Broken Pony or do the bad fish, do the bad fish. It's just not becoming, it's not style-wise, you know, romantic.
Number 43 in our Dance Crazes rundown comes from the godfather of soul, James Brown. When I reach my 70s, I plan to spend my time eating toffees, watching Homes Under the Hammer, and pretending to be deaf. When James Brown reached his 70s, he was still spending his days wearing a jumpsuit and dancing around the stage like he was having some kind of fit. His passing in 2006 was mourned not just by his fans, but by the entire prosthetic hip industry.
Get on up, get up, get on up, stay on the scene, get on up, like a sex machine.
That iconic bit, you hear that and you just automatically know what time it is and you got to start doing this.
Stay on the scene, get on up, like a
Watching footage of James Brown is like watching someone possessed by this amazing, musical, rhythmic, passionate dancing spirit.
then use your palm.
I would describe James Brown as a firecracker. You know, he's up there, he can be smooth, and you light that thing, and it just kind of goes crazy.
I love James Brown. He was like one of those kind of preacher dancers, you know, he was possessed by the Lord.
I definitely think James Brown has inspired many performers. Michael Jackson, even Beyonce. People want this thing, you know?
From his leg to his spin to when he sings, when he dances.
Stay on the scene.
70-year-old James Brown, just still dancing. I'm like, James Brown, calm down. Calm down, James, because you might break a hip.
Get on up, get on up.
Absolutely the originator of shaking his thing.
Our next dance craze was spawned by Miley Cyrus's dad, of all people. Turns out he's actually a musician, and his 1992 track Achy Breaky Heart brought line dancing into the big time. The song was written by Don Von Tress, a man who, interestingly, shares his initials with the medical condition deep vein thrombosis.
Yes, it's the dance sensation of the summer, the achy breaky.
Billy Ray Cyrus for me is like the worst of what America can offer us. He's got his moulet on the go. It's sort of like a perm and mullet convention in the video. Horrendous, horrendous.
But if you could master a grapevine and rock your hips 3 times, you could do the achy breaky, and the routine was most infectious. Not infectious in a good way. I mean infectious like conjunctivitis or scabies.
And my God, it was catchy. You'd be in a club and then people would start to hurriedly organise lines. It's like, no, stop it.
The shoulders are going and all doing this sort of stuff.
That was the mother of all dance crazes, really, the whole line dancing thing.
Somebody just called it the Cyrus virus, and now everywhere I play, people show up with big posters and banners that say, "We've got the Cyrus virus."
It reached epidemic proportions as line dancing clubs sprang up around the country.
The thigh-slapping, foot-stomping craze, which is sweeping the country. Yeehaw!
Line dancing appeals to people who don't like dancing, but want to join in. Rather than having to have any imagination or ability or capacity to express yourself, you merely learn how to shuffle in a queue. So I think it's quite good for pensioners who really are just sort of making their night out an extension of hanging around at the post office.